Hey you guys, real quick. I am making breadcrumbs. This is a bag that I put just the ends of the loaf or the random like one-off hot dog bun that's left. I just chopped up several pieces of bread, and I have it in my oven so I can make breadcrumbs because I'm making meatloaf. Yay, meatloaf! So excited. I love meatloaf. All right, so I'll bring it back when I'm closer to having everything. Okay, so I have my breadcrumbs all done. I baked my cubes for about 10 minutes and then I pulsed everything in my blender because I don't have a food processor. This is a little bit more than 2 pounds of meat, but it'll still be okay. I have ketchup, which I will need a half a cup of, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, 1 egg, cup of milk, and excuse me. So I'm actually going to make 2 meatloafs out of this. Also, you can use the same mix to make meatballs, which I normally do, but I decided that I was going to make meatloaf and store a second one in one of these little pans. Since 1 pound of meatloaf is quite a bit for my husband and I. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding things in. And if you don't have breadcrumbs, use crackers. If I didn't actually have crackers, so this is what I used and what I had on hand. See if I can get this cap up. This is my garlic powder, about a half a teaspoon or so. Onion powder, regular onion would be good in this as well, about half a teaspoon or so. Whoops. I have that pepper, but it's not easy for me to put in. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to put some pepper. Probably again about half a teaspoon or so. Unfortunately, I don't always measure. See if I can crack an egg one-handed. Ha! Looky there. I am going to go ahead and measure out my half cup of ketchup because all I pulled out was a 1/4 cup. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so my hands are very clean. I did use a little bit of water to shake up in my, like a tablespoon or 2 to shake up in my ketchup bottle because I am pretty much out of ketchup out of that bottle. I do have another one in my pantry. If you do not like touching raw meat, if you have a KitchenAid mixer, this is a great application to make meatloaf or meatballs in. That's what I normally do, is I just make one big giant batch of meatloaf and meatballs at the same time. And I bake my meatballs. I don't pan fry them, and then I freeze them, as you saw when I did my meatball subs. I do have a little bit of extra breadcrumb if I decide that I need it, that it's too wet. Because again, I have a little bit more meat than I'm supposed to, because I think my packages were about 1.5 pounds. And it's really cold. That's one of the things of doing ground beef by hand. I personally don't like. I don't like being cold and my hands in the cold meat. I didn't actually season my breadcrumbs either, but you could add Italian seasoning if you wanted to. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and add the last little bit of my breadcrumbs. So there's the last little bit of my breadcrumbs. And yeah, some of them are a little chunkier than others, I guess, or bigger, but it'll all be okay. It's amazing how difficult it is to cook one-handed until you try it. But I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is all mixed up really well, wash my hands, get my pan ready that is going to go in the freezer, and then I will get the pan that I'm going to cook my meatloaf in for dinner tonight ready to go, and then I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's my meatloaf that is going in my oven. Here's my meatloaf. I'm going to put a lid on it, label it, and put it in the freezer. I don't sauce mine until the day I'm going to cook it, because some days we want ketchup and other days we want barbecue sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this at 350 for about an hour to an hour and a half. I'll bring you back when it's done, and I'll show you what dinner looks like. I'm trying to hold off on making the cake till either tomorrow or Sunday, but I'm really excited. So I will bring y'all back here shortly. Okay, so here is the meatloaf. Here is the plate. And I should turn this around so you can see my husband trying to be all cute and annoying. Okay, so anyway, so this is supper. We put barbecue sauce on the top. There's the mischief dog squeaking his squirrel. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.